Well, it is 5:15 on your Sunday evening. Temperatures right now just barely above the freezing point. Right around the freezing point in Bloomington, 34 here in Decatur. If you're out in Jacksonville, 33 as well as in Carlinville, and even 34 down along that I-70 corridor. Now, of course, we're going to notice lows getting below the freezing point tonight in the upper 20s. But notice that we're dry out there on the Florida America Tower camera. This, of course, is Millikan University here. You can see Northern Macon in the background there as well. Dense cloud cover continues to remain in place. Also supported on satellite radar. But again, we're dry in comparison to what we noticed last night, even early this morning. There were a few flurries, quick snow shower possible. Some people woke up this morning, especially on decks and railways. There was a little bit of a dusting, but there was no accumulation that was actually measurable. Keep in mind with snowfall, in order to call it measurable snow, it has to be at least 1/10 of an inch. But you can see the possibility for more clouds rolling our way as we start to head into tonight. Well, that's simply because here's our next system that's really going to start to roll through, coming out of the Rockies and eventually right across the plains. Actually, it's going to take a deep turn to the south towards Oklahoma City before turning almost due north. And that's what's really been difficult about this incoming forecast, is simply because where that area of low pressure is, it really determines if it's rain versus the opportunity of snow. Here in central Illinois, we're going to get a mix. Now, you've heard the term winter storm. You've heard the term storm. Yes, this is a storm across the Midwest. It might not be extremely impactful for some of our communities in comparison to other ones, but you can definitely tell the opportunity of rain starting to build up as we get into Monday morning. This is out towards Wichita, Kansas, even Oklahoma. Again, this takes a turn to the north. That's when we start to see the opportunity of a wintry mix. Best thing to note, if you're along I-72, even a bit more northwest, specifically from Jacksonville to Bloomington, it's a little bit more of a snow event for you. The further south you go, even along I-72 here in Decatur, even down towards Effingham, it's going to be mixing with the opportunity of rain. And this is going to limit some of that accumulation. So you may have heard some inches being thrown out there nearly a week ago. That's why here at WAND, we don't do that. We wait till about 48 hours prior and we fine tune it as we get closer. Because Tuesday during the day, it's an all or rain event. But notice that transition line further to the northwest than what models were showing yesterday. I'm still not going to rule out the chance that this is kind of where we start to see the better chance of snow here in central Illinois. But also it's all about where we find that transition line. It does turn the opportunity of all snow as we start to head into Tuesday evening through Tuesday night into Wednesday morning before it does push out. Here is where we would see the most accumulation, is really, again, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. If this continues to pan out the way models have suggested and the way that we have it forecasted here at WAND. Wednesday during the day looks to be a bit drier. Sure, we could see some remnants there. National Weather Service in Lincoln went ahead and issued a winter storm watch for Scott, Morgan, Cass, Menard County. This is going to go from Monday evening into Wednesday morning. The watch comes before the warning, so the big question is, do models hold? If they don't, they may get rid of this. If they do, they're going to keep it, and they may even include a few more counties as we get a little closer if needed. Here's the latest snowfall accumulation map. 1 to 3 inches here in the teal. Pretty much if you're down towards I-70, it's mainly a rain event, kind of traditional system for you. It's going to be a little bit slushy. 3 to 6 inches here in the purple. This is the time to note these are ranges. A lot of us are going to be on the lower side, so don't get so focused on the high end of it. Closer to about 3 inches, I think would be ideal for many of us. There could be a few isolated locations that are a bit more. The 6+, that is kind of from Peoria towards the Lincoln area. That is going to be where the heart is, where that transition line is. And depending on where that is, really kind of determines, does the opportunity for heavier snow creep in? At this point in time, this is pretty confident with our forecast, but as we get closer, you may find that we shift this a bit more northwest more than anything else, simply because that transition line with the recent trends have been moving a bit more to the northwest. So yes, it's going to be an impactful system one way or another. But what can you do? Well, you can expect fine-tuning from us as we get closer, but I don't want you to panic. In many cases, it's going to be a pretty traditional system. That's why we don't like to hype things up here at WAND. Expect some strong winds, though. Peak wind gusts as we start to get into Tuesday into your Wednesday, 30, 35 miles per hour, maybe starting to approach 40 to 45. And that, of course, is going to be a big issue if you're traveling. Winds are going to be out of northwest, adding a bit of colder air into that as well. So whenever you start to talk about strong winds, well, that's whenever the concern comes for some crosswinds. Tonight, 28 degrees, mostly cloudy. You can see your Roto-Rooter 7-day forecast. It's going to continue to show another opportunity for snowflakes as we get into Friday, but much colder air settling in by the time we get into next weekend.
Coming up in